Well, here we are. I'm just here to really explain why they fail. It's really the reptilian mind versus the human, the beautiful God mind that people can have through being human and through having a soul. The reptilian is, speaking about abominations, is an abomination in a sense. It's an abomination in the sense that that everything they do, everything they think of, for example, military uniforms, rote, command and control, brute force, bludgeoning people, forcing them to do what they, part of the feeding of the reptilian is to force their will on others. And because we can't see that, it shows that we're like Plato in the cave. All you see is the images on the wall. You don't know what real reality is. We don't know what it really is. We just see reflections. So we can't rely on our senses to know. We have to rely on that. People say the gut. Well, it's where God dwells within a person, and if God dwells within you, then you know all things. Then you know all this is false. And so the reason I'm mentioning all this is because you're about to see the rollout of these things, trying to act like we are your leaders. Even when they did the Series V, they were reptiles. They were Nazis. They had epaulets. They wanted to control humanity. It's all been very, very, very clear. Very clear. To say this doesn't exist makes you a real fool. Like guys that go and start citing books of psychologists and stuff to prove it's all, basically false memory syndrome. It's not false memory syndrome. Tom Mack proved that. Not Tom Mack, but what's his name? Mack, the psychiatrist from Harvard. What was his name? You remember. He proved it was all real. Anyone who's ever studied the Antarctica knows it's all real. It's all real. And everything is a deception. Everything's a lie. Everything in school is a lie. All the textbooks are lies. Everything that's in existence pretty much is a lie. So how do you see through it? Because the human is more intelligent than all the textbooks combined, which are mainly propaganda. So the Draco, is basically there, enslaving human, cloning human, doing all these things they can do, but the war is really with God, for the reptilian. The war, the real war, the militaristic, the use of fuels, nuclear bombs, is all reptilian. The reptilian mind is this rote brute force with complete lack of any kind of intellectual prowess, any kind of nuance, subtlety. A reptilian would never know anything about beauty unless somebody explained it to them or said, "Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, okay, I'll go buy that for my mansion." Right? They'd have to have a consultant to have beautiful things, to sort of imitate the humans who know such things, who can know beauty and subtlety and nuance and epiphany and depth, height, width, and all kinds of things. The human just can't play God. The reptilian doesn't understand God, so the reptilian feels like, well, they're strong, and they can, they have powers, and so they must be the rulers of the universe. They're stronger than human, so they must be the rulers. Humans are duped into feeding them the children, which they eat. And I've always known this. I've always known that, say, under L.A., there were, definitely, creatures under there, worlds under there, that these cults and covens, that are really in the know. The really hardcore ones are cannibals, that. And, the government wants to feed us to the cannibals. But the fact that they have the humans feeding them is pretty disgusting in and of itself. And these humans, eventually become cannibals themselves because they become like the ones they serve. Stupid and flesh-eating. And that's the big Nazi reveal. That's the big final solution of Adolf Hitler. That's the big tool society thing. That's the Club of Rome. That's the Vatican. That's basically the British Israel. That's what is it? The Russell Trust. That's the Skull and Bones. That's basically the whole ball game. Done. That's it. That's all it is. And the way they're going now, they're on track as a complete failure. I mean, look at a guy like Larry Fink. What a sorry son of a bitch he really is. Now, he's the de facto ruler of the world, under Draco, under the control and the auspices of certain secret societies that are basically secret because they're in lockstep with these things and advanced technology, which is kept hidden. It's up to 1 billion years past where we are now. So they can do about anything they want. But guess what? What they want is controlled by God. The big mistake is the brute force, bludgeon into conformity, that sort of totalitarianism. All that comes from the lizards. People are not like that. People want freedom. Everybody wants freedom. The people that sign on to that just have been mind-controlled and beaten down so much they feel like, well, I can't get a paycheck or pay my family unless I bow down to the lizards. And there aren't any lizards. They don't exist. I won't even mention it. I just, get in line with the way things are going and with my group around me and what they're doing. I'm monkey see, monkey do, and then maybe I'll be okay. I'll slide by. Nobody slides by. Everyone's going to be judged. It's going to be like, well, what did you do? But you see, God works subtly and in strange ways, like through them, and gets them to trip themselves up by using brute force techniques to bludgeon people into conformity. And all that's going to do is cause a complete, like right now, you wonder, they were ready to roll out everything on the 15th, typical reptilian type of thing. Okay. They're ready to roll that out. And what happens? Spiritually, they can't do it because they know right now it would fail. Now, the people need to be more than patriotic. They need to be more than just spiritual. They need to understand, what the enemy is. And they need to understand the oracles of God reveal the depths of Satan. So if you don't know the depths of Satan, you don't know the oracles of God, then you need to get deeper into God to get knowledge, because you need a word of knowledge to be able to comport yourself in this world. You need to understand who the enemy is. You need to understand they don't just come in the form of witches with little capes. They're also in the air. They're also in the vents. They're right next to you, crawling along the floor like these little creatures. But you can't see them. They're hovering outside your home in their little UFOs, and you can't see those either to the naked eye. Sometimes a digital camera will pick up on one, but usually not, unless they want to be seen. So that cloaking ability is like when Trish had an experience with one, and they all have these uniforms. And where did the uniforms come from? They are the originator of the uniforms. The uniforms come from Draco, from the reptiles, from reptilian, things. I don't call them reptilian humanoids. There's nothing human about them. They're just basically animals. They really are. They really don't have self-aware. They have rote behavior, modification and obedience. That's about it. They don't have, they don't want thinkers or individuals or individual thought. It's all collective group thought. And everything about the people that join them, the humans that sign up, they all become collectivists. Notice that? They push communism. They push socialism. They want to be on top. And they want to put a dictatorship, everyone under it. And when they do that, people rebel. People rebel. And I'm so glad to be alive at this time, since everything that I've said I've been vindicated for. No one thinks anything I said about the Draco and underground and all that stuff is the stuff of, modern myth. It's urban legend. No, it's all true. It's all literally, in fact, it's true, and it's way more, it's even 10 million times more horrifying than I'm even explaining. humans used as, the planet used as one big experiment. And these people that serve them, the larryfinks of the world that serve the reptilian agenda, are basically wanting to, get rid of biological life on Earth, all carbon life. And so we know that trees provide oxygen and provide, all kinds of benefits to humans, so they want to get rid of the trees. This whole drama is because God made man in his image, meaning the highest potential of human is tabernacle of God territory, something that they could never achieve. And they'll never be. They'll never be loved. They're hated. And they're worshipped by the elites because the elites worship money. To get more money, you need to worship the reptile, the lizards. You have to worship them to be, they're the ones that choose people. They're the ones that put people in power. They're the ones that decide who's wealthy and who isn't, in general, not across the board, but I mean, they decide. And so they just feel God's not a problem. They can just do what they want. So the reptilian feels like, is ignorant of God and believes that God is is there but is benign, or just a creative force that is not conscious like they are. They're unaware that, in fact, it's amazing how unaware the reptilians really are. They may be advanced in, 1 billion years advanced in technology or whatever, and all that stuff, but still they are, to the Lord, they're an abomination, whereas the human has various subtleties and various, aspects, wonderful aspects that are like, layers and degrees of understanding and shades of color and beauty and knowledge and the knowledge, and it has the capability of knowing all things. The reptilian does not have the capability of knowing all things. The intelligence of the human is not in the brain necessarily. The brain is there and adequate for the human's use. The intelligence of the human is really in the heart. It's really located in the solar plexus area. And that's where the knowing occurs, and that's where the intelligence occurs. And the consciousness is linked up with all the other humans and all the other, everything in God's creation, so that a human doesn't have to carry a big head. The big head is a sign of retardation. The big head is a sign of unintelligence. The big head is the sign of, it's like an Esau sign. I don't need God. I got all the intelligence I need. Look, I got a big head. Right? And still they can't fathom what's going on. No capability of observing anything. They're just taking up space. So to God, there are useless eaters too. People that when you put it right in their face, they say satanic panic, proving they're liars, reprobates, and a blight on humanity, proving they're the enemy of all that you see. They're Antichrist. Antichrist simply means the enemy of humanity. Christ is life. Antichrist is death, or death cult, anti-life. It's really so. So you want to, if you want to maximize your joy, maximize Christ and minimize the Antichrist within you, within your person, within your lifestyle. And then eventually you grow. You have taste for things that live. So I could leave it right there. I just wanted to impart the good news. The good news is that, you're way, 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 way ridiculously more advanced than they are. They could be 1 billion years ahead to some, mechanical technologies and, whatever it is they have, you know what I mean? And levitation, portals, dimensional existence, blah, 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 blah. It's all boring. The fact of the matter is the human is so far more advanced than the reptilian that the reptilian does not understand the human. If the reptilian understood the human, meaning had any intelligence at all, or anything even comparable, they would go a whole new way. They wouldn't go with gradualism either. I mean, they would find a way of seduction that's far greater than what they've done so far. Their seduction is really, at this point, seen through. People are too smart for that at this point.
From the start they were apart, from their outposts of power, gained from the destruction of innocence. They're the ones who gave us war. They're the ones who gave us trauma. The ones who gave us thought control. They're the ones who feed and sacrifice to their God.